You are.
All right, I'll call this meeting of the International Falls Economic Development Authority to order at 6:15 on January 16th, 2024. Roll call, we're all here. Approval of the minutes from the last meeting, October 16th, 2023.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? Question?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. The motion carries. Anybody in the audience have anything to add? All right. Okay, accounts payable financial reports. Approve accounts payable as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Do you have something, Betty?
Just that these were the payables from October through December, and we don't have any regular unaudited financials due to the timing, and we're still working on closing December and getting everything timed out, and you just approved the audit, the auditors for the new year,
Yeah.
so we'll be having the full financial information at the next meeting, but these are the payables for this time period.
All right. I'll ask the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And that you just took care of B too in that same, all right, reports election officers. This happens every year. So do I have a nomination for president?
Can I just ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Anybody want to be president this year that has not served in the past? I know we have 3 people on this board that have been president, myself, Mike, and Pete. Anybody else interested?
I'm new, so I probably shouldn't.
I would make the motion for Councilor Kaler.
Yeah, oh, you had him worried. You had him worried.
I wasn't trying to push anybody, I was just wondering if anyone else wanted to do it. It's a,
The way you were
I'm old,
eliminating
so I
it, it kind of put the spotlight over here.
Yeah.
well, you guys are on the left.
Yeah.
I would make, I would nominate Pete Kaler for president of the IFEDA.
A second.
There's
I
a,
have to.
yeah,
It's not a motion.
I don't even get a chance to, all right, and there's a second for myself.
There's a second.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations for president? Are you sure there's no other nominations for president? All right, ask the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, I will be the president for another year. Vice president nominations.
Nominate
You
Tim.
want it? I'll second that.
I have a nomination and a second for Counselor Wagner. Any other nominations for vice president? Any other nominations for vice president? Any other nominations for vice president? I ask the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you.
Do we have, now we need a treasurer. Do we have a nomination for someone to be treasurer?
I would make the motion for the money man to be Mr. Mike Holden.
All right.
All right.
I got a motion for Mike. Do I have a second? And I have a second for Mike. I'm just going to assume, but I'll go through the I will go through the motions. Do I have another nomination? Do I have another nomination? Do I have another nomination for treasurer? All right, ask the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mike is now in charge of the cash. Cash in, cash out, cash in, cash
Cash
out.
in, cash out.
What's the, go ahead.
I didn't realize we had an assistant
I was
treasurer.
just gonna ask that. I was treasurer last year, I didn't have an assistant.
I believe that historically, that's
That-
been
that-
the city staff.
Yeah, city staff.
Oh,
Yeah,
So city staff historically has been the assistant treasurer and the secretary.
and the secretary.
Sure. yep,
And I moved to keep that the same.
yeah.
I second that.
And we have a second?
Second.
All right. Question?
Aye.
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 Aye. Congratulations.
Any other nominations? You didn't even,
That time I did, I was pretty sure.
no.
No, yeah, I did it. You're true, I did it.
That's awesome.
So who made the motion and second? I missed that. You guys talked.
We all
about
made
that.
the motion.
We did it all together.
I, Taylor and Wagner, I don't know if that was right.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Close enough.
For that.
Close enough.
Thank you.
The potato was hot. We're moving fast. Director Secretary report. We don't have a director?
Yeah.
Unless it's me and I don't have one, so.
Okay.
and Betty gave our report, I think, for the meeting. Other retail recruitment presentation materials from John T. Anybody have any discussion about this? Any little more you have on Mr. Teets?
Anybody? What'd you think of it, Betty?
I mean, I found it interesting. Tim, if you would maybe bring a little background, I know, did you say you met him at a conference?
Yeah, at the
That's
LMC.
how he got
Yep.
to present to the group?
Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
At the LMC conference in Duluth, when we were at the,
How did I miss him?
well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, all right.
There was a lot of vendors there. Let's put it
There
that
were,
way.
yes.
There's several vendors there, and
Yeah.
it was just one that I don't know, I got too close to him, whatever.
Oh, Vandro,
He was
I may have been holding court somewhere.
I don't know. Had nice pens, maybe,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. But we got to talking, and of course, the main question I was posing to him was with the upcoming legalization of cannabis and the worry of having too many cannabis stores on Main Street, that was where it took us, and then I went down the rabbit hole with this, so. It's all good information, though, I think. But very good.
Is it in here, but I didn't say anything about cost or how we pay them or?
Well, you gotta hire them.
You got higher, then they'll tell us how much it costs us?
Well, if we move forward with it, then, yeah, I'm sure we'll get a bill of some type if we want to
I
continue.
didn't know if it was like on commission, but probably not, huh?
No, I mean,
Bob's
you
wishful
know, and
thinking.
and
Speaking of cannabis, you know.
and even when he was talking, and same with this, some of our biggest needs are retail is, we don't have a Kmart anymore, we don't have those types of things, and that's kind of where they were hitting. That's where he was headed.
Yep.
But how to bring,
Yep.
how they can bring something like that to us, I don't know that that's necessarily a Main Street thing, but what do you think in there, Mary?
Well, I question retail, and it's not that I have any issue with anybody coming into our community. I would love to have more retail, but we don't have the population to support said retail. So how do we get in more manufacturing? Because I think manufacturing or building things, getting money into our community naturally brings in retail. But I'm open to having conversations and discussions, and this may be something I just don't understand. But I've always kind of believed that it's manufacturing or, e-jobs where people can, your United Healthcares and people that are working online, bringing money into the community. Those are the types of things that make demand for retail. But retail just doesn't seem to be like the lead for me. But what do I know? I see Holiday Gas Station as crazy busy as they are every day, so.
And his thing wasn't so much jobs, we get these businesses in here and they're paying taxes.
Yeah.
That's was his
That was his.
his spiel. And he mentioned a couple other ones of smaller towns that are isolated, that, I forget what the store, Burger King or something, or.
Yeah.
Oh, we can get a Burger King? I'm in.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, we
but-
could.
But they were, their situation was, was similar but different than ours. They needed something like that.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and the retail, that's a big umbrella.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know, so.
I'm really for it too, but I think right now, our number one thing should be housing we should be talking about. We should be getting that HRA going more and get something going, because that's probably one of our biggest problems right now. If we're gonna have more manufacturing in town, we need to have housing. And
Well-
affordable housing.
No doubt.
Well, and on a similar note, Betty and I have been having a handful of conversations. There's some real movement happening at the HRA now since we've had those conversations. Betty, do you have any quick updates on what they're working on?
I don't have any specifics. I just know that Kim reached out and said that they've reached out to contractors and they're taking baby steps. And she was really excited about it. I went to a housing meeting with Isaac and in Kutaska 2 weeks ago. And, you know, they too are going to be looking at another housing project
Yes.
after this is done. I think he said they have like a 5-year cycle.
Yep.
But they are helping and are very excited to be working with our HRA too. So we're making some movement there. They're looking at a single-family house is what I'm kind of understanding. I'm not getting a lot yet because it's really, you know, premature and they're just getting their feet wet and going in a direction, so, but they are moving.
Good.
And I have heard that Art Holt is going to be the new president of the HRA. Tom Smythe has stepped down. Obviously, he's still on the board. I appointed him last month, but now, or early this last meeting, I'm sorry. But yeah, we have a new president there, and he has been really poised to understand the system.
Yep.
And so I'm really excited for what's happening over at the HRA. I think that, you know, that's going to be one of the biggest moves that we made in 2023 was just shaking the apple tree, and they're ready to move forward and do some stuff, so.
Art was at that housing meeting as well and very, you know, enthusiastic about moving forward and working with these folks and, you know, getting assistance and guidance and whatever they can to help understand. Yep.
Well, and another piece of the housing thing is with what's happening at the multimodal with Felix and Onesimus, they're looking at bringing in housing. You know, that's one of the conversations that they're having is to try to add new housing to the community because they see a need for the folks that are gonna need to be there. And in the hospital plan.
Yes, that's part of their
there's additional
longer business.
housing planned in there.
Yeah.
So
Phase two.
we're in a neat spot right now. I mean, we're, as a city, doing something about housing, working with our HRA. You know, and we have a handful of groups that are looking at investing in, and one is legitimately working on a project right now at Bacchus. So,
Yeah. Well, you know, overall, I think a lot of this we already knew,
Right, no,
Knew our deficiencies here.
I was just wondering, yeah.
but, you know,
I mean, if they were gonna, you know, for every
Efficiencies, though, if we get.
for
some-
every
and
McDonald's we get, yeah,
Hopefully
give
it'll
us so
help.
much
Fill
money.
in some of
But
these
was-
empty buildings.
you know, I'm not recommending we
No, I
hire
understand,
these
no.
people or anything. It's just a
No,
fair study information is all it is.
Okay.
And I guess if our Kmart, the old Kmart building was still vacant and we were looking for something to move into there, I think this is the type of
Oh, yeah.
group that we would be probably looking for to be able to go out and find one of those larger retailers. Because I think that's the struggle is, okay, how do you get a Walmart or a Target or a Kmart to come into your community? I think these are the folks,
Yeah.
that's what
They
they
do,
do.
yeah.
You know, some of these name brand, not for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
but more of a name brand type of business. you know, if that's what you're looking for, you know, to fill a retail space of that size.
Well, and I think then we have a real question. You know, at least with where County Market was, that is Menards, so they're gonna be able to do whatever they choose to do with it. But we're gonna, unless something changes, we're gonna have a vacant building at the previous Super One. That has fallen through, so maybe if there are things out here like this, to be able to recruit for that, that's a lot of foot space, especially with it being the old Bridgman's, and, you know, there's essentially two buildings that were compressed into one at that location, so I'm not advocating for this right now, but maybe that's something we do need to look at if it doesn't get sold.
And another thing to look to in the future, speaking of Kutaska, looking at possibly another multi-unit building, and we're gonna have an empty hospital on the lot over there.
So where do we get ahead? So that's the long-term question. How do we get ahead of the game so that we're not trying to be reactive and be proactive? If we know that the hospital is looking at making this move, where do we look to try to fill that? Because that's going to ultimately be public
But we
space.
don't know that is empty. We don't know what their
We
new
don't pay
use may or
taxes.
may not be for that property.
Right.
So, you know, we don't wanna get too far ahead of ourselves and
correct.
get, you know, an assumption out there. You know, I think it's pretty early yet for them, you know, to say, well, no, it's just gonna sit vacant, we're gonna be selling it. Well, then it's time, I think, you know.
Yeah.
But until such time,
Yeah.
We get the spade in the ground out there.
Well, yeah, well, that too, I mean, that's just in the future, and I might have had something that's a little more confirmed that they're gonna be looking at getting rid of that down the road, other than having this, that's gonna be their hospital and their stuff. But we'll see how it all goes, that's just, but I do know that, because Isaac told me the same, that they're interested in their cycle to come and build some up here.
I think you're right, Harley. We gotta work on getting that
Good thinking.
the old Super One in the old Bridgman area. We got-
Coincidentally, Dave Stewart just sent me these pictures today of the inside of Super One. It is just vacant.
Yeah.
In one big open room.
This is one we need to take care of, get something in there,
Yeah.
you know.
What options do we have to, because, you know, it's a weird narrative between, you know, public and private. And I don't want to get in the middle of that because, you know, we struggled with that with Kmart. And whenever we had anyone that was interested in the building, we gave them all the information we possibly could. But what do we do? I mean, how do we? I don't know where that line is. I don't know if I'm comfortable trying to help somebody sell a building. That's not really our place.
I think it's like,
But you don't want it to sit empty either.
True.
but I think if somebody comes to us and needs some help that way,
Yeah.
and we can point, like with our, you know, the computer thingy,
Yeah.
well, the houses and the lots, and, you
Yep.
know, so we have that there. and
Property for
And
sale.
your property, if you're looking for something, we can send you in the right direction, who can help you with that, then if you guys need help selling that. Yes, sir.
So also on the hospital, the new hospital, they have a lot of permits to go through and
Oh, yeah.
wetland credits.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if this is where we talk about those or how we can
Yep.
help them with that. It's a
Yep.
major need. I think they need 6 or 7,
Yeah.
something like that.
And I'm sure
When I talked to 'em.
there's probably gonna be some wetlands needed for the warehouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
At one time, didn't we have, I remember a long time ago, we were looking at, when I was on the council before, we're looking at getting like 20-some.
well, and I think that was related to the Megan's property.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think the last study we had Bolton and Mink do, you and I and Public Works Director just had this conversation, and he doesn't believe we have as many credits as what we had thought we were going to have.
But did they ever get finalized?
See, and I don't believe they have on the property over in, Bedax.
Correct.
And the thing, and that's the only thing, just because he thinks we got to know. And we said, good luck, you know, it's kind of like the Eagles not trying to run the ball because they had everybody on the front of the line. You got to do it, right? Give it a run. But yeah, well, yeah, it's going to be any.
But it's big for two of our major.
Well, that's what I mean. We need to look into it and if we can help.
If we can help.
Have that bank. And that's how that all started, so we could have that bank. Because no matter what we do around here, we're going to be trading wetlands.
Yeah.
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 When we can.
Because they don't, that's some of the things they don't let you beg for forgiveness later either, pretty sure.
No, I don't think so.
No. Anything else? Meeting adjourned. See, I went so fast on the trigger, I was October 16th and then kept on talking once I adjourned.
We had to meet and go on again. You had to adjourn that one twice.
Yeah.
Lisa, when you get a chance, do you mind getting me a motel room
Well, one more
at
photo.
Arrowwood for the LMC concert?
Oh, no, thank you.
I think it's the
Yeah.
23rd and 24th. Is that easier just have you do it or have me do
I
it?
bet you do. I bet your house just smells wonderful all the time, though.
February.
It's 23rd and
I finally
24th.
bake and my
I'll
kids
meet it,
ask
I
whose
think.
birthday
Or
it is.
22nd.
And I'm like, huh,
Thursday night, the 22nd.
what's
And
that?
Friday
you guys
night,
are
the
doing now?
23rd.
I'm not sure.
Where's this at? And
Alexandria?
how
That's
did they do that for you?
not the motel rooms though.
I did.
Did I get some motel rooms too on that email? you sent?
Oh, they're beautiful.
I'll look again.
Ask Tim.
I believe, yeah, maybe you just got, I just saw that we were all signed up for the, I trust you. Yeah, trust me, I trust you more than I trust myself. So there you go. All right, perfect.
No, if that's one in Alexandria.
Yeah.
Sanford's trying
Yeah.
to get a footprint.
Because that,
Beautiful on the other side. Oh my gosh, they're cool.
A lot of work. She's done, I think she's done about 15 of them now. She's only got 12 more. She must do a whole area in front of her flower bed, and it's grass and weeds and crap that doesn't grow.
No, I agree.
Between the garage.
And I don't see it.
I don't, one thing I'm pretty sure that with my little back and forth with Christina, she actually would be raising her hand.
Well, then, so how did it just come on?
Well, that's something I don't know.
And so, I mean, I just
Cute
don't want
though.
to
Oh, no, I got you.
I'll have to see the
But
finished
yeah, I
product
get it
next
during some
summer.
of these
It sounds
conversations,
adorable.
it's not really open to the public
it's-
either
yeah.
unless
Right.
the chair allow, you know.
Yeah.
So I just didn't want to,
I didn't even reckon.
so you did get my text and seen and you asked her?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Well, and it went up on the screen. The questions about that. So I
Oh, I
thought you
missed
saw
it.
'em.
Oh, I didn't see
Or I would
that.
have messaged you.
Oh, okay, okay,
Until,
okay, good. Well, this is, I just didn't wanna
twice.
not acknowledge if it's right.
That's your number one way to get it. You can do, you could leaflet the gate, but they have, PCA has cut back on that, so you can't be on the property anymore.
Yeah, I don't wanna